Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'm talking about the movies, obviously their theme parks, merchandising, I don't know, whatever the case may be. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, then yes, guaranteed there's a solid chance I'll be talking about it. And here's a subject matter I've spoken about so many times I lost count, and that's Disney's remakes. I mean, not just them, but just remakes in general, I guess. But bottom line, I just want to expand upon what I've already said. I mean, obviously, it's just extremely lazy, though nothing more than just cash grabs that just trying to capitalize on nostalgia. Yeah, that's it. That's literally all this is. Just trying to capitalize on nostalgia and trying to make them more modern or whatever. Mind you, this isn't an argument against capitalism or anything like that, okay, to be perfectly clear. It's just that Disney, among other companies, are just being real lazy that because they don't want to take risks at all. I'm not saying they ran out of ideas because that's not the case here. They're just feeling lazy. Hold on a second. You somebody talk about bad movies. Shouldn't there be assaulting somebody interrupting my videos? Yeah, I wonder what that someone is doing at the moment. Hmm.
Привет. Привет. Как дела?
Ой, добрый.
हम माल के चक्कर में भाई रुक जाओ रुक जाओ।
So, okay, the fact of the matter is that despite strong opinions about these remakes, like stuff like Cinderella was only remade just because a lot of people accused the Walt Disney Company of sexism, which of course that never happened, like at all. And then there's other remakes, such as, of course, the film Beauty and the Beast, which a lot of people accused the original film of normalizing verbal abuse and stuff like that, which, of course, again, was never the case. They're just making stuff up. And then also, if we go even further back, Dumbo was remade just because of the fact that people assumed that the original film was supporting racism. Again, they're making stuff up. It was never a problem before, and now you son have an issue with it. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want diversity, fine, you can have it. Like Dragon Age Inquisition did the whole diversity thing just well. Dragon Age Inquisition actually had a point to have this. There was a reason behind it. All of the characters have their own classes. All the characters can come together and actually help one another and unite against the greater evil and have a sense of unity, so to speak. And so, yeah, like I was saying, there was an actual reason for this to occur. It wasn't there just to be there. It wasn't there just to purchase, And just the thing is that on Disney itself, the company had made diverse movies before, where like in Brave, the characters Eleanor and Merida had a conflict. These two characters had this strong disagreements, had their own opinions what the life should be of the daughter. And that could be relatable, regardless of the fact that this is a woman and regardless of the fact that she's Scottish. You're still going to be empathetic towards the character because there's lots of people out there that are having a similar struggle with their own parents because their own parents are bossing them around how to live their lives. That's relatable. That right there for a lot of people, regardless of their ethnic background or gender. And even Turning Red had a similar conflict and whatnot. And of course, getting of age it can be awkward. Going through middle school is very awkward when you think about it. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who had done a lot of stuff in middle school that could be considered as really cringe and whatnot, and they regret doing it, of course. But that's a part of life. That happens. Yes, it centers around Chinese characters, but still relatable for many people. And even the first Frozen film, all these characters are from Norwegian. They're from Norway. But the central theme here is that finding your own identity. Yeah, this film explores the whole idea of what women can and can't do. Women can be strong, and of course, the social identities, and of course, it explores the bond between two sisters. This can be really relatable because there's a good chance that people who watch this movie are part of a big family, whether it's brothers and sisters, or maybe one or the other, if not both. So again, regardless of gender and what and where they came from, still could be relatable in any way when you think about it. And then in Frozen 2, it explores the idea that not everybody in your family is great. You might have viewed, let's say, a nephew, a father, or maybe grandpa as great, wonderful people, and as it turned out, they're complete assholes. Oh boy, it happens. Your image of them, your impression of them originally, has been completely shattered. This kind of thing happens quite often when you think about it. One thing though, I kind of felt like this was a missed opportunity where they could have actually had Elsa express shell shock because of the events of the first movie, and they explore that even more in this one. But just to be clear here is that yeah, war is not the only way you can actually get that mental disorder, which yes is a genuine disorder. Yeah, you can get it from war, sure. That's one of the main ways in which you're gonna get this kind of a thing. But one thing a lot of people don't know is that this is not the only way to do it. Yes, war itself is pretty damn horrific, which I'm not going to dismiss because it's a crazy experience. Still, though, and Jesus Christ, oh boy, I know that. Wow, this yeah went there. I know. I'm just saying. And another thing is that is the in the original Cinderella, we get to see that she's trying to be kind no matter how her step siblings and her stepmother are trying to be so cruel and so mean to her. They're relentless. They're pretty much be bothersome like every waking moment of the day. But she never cusses them out. She never wants to hurt them. She never wants to harm them in any shape or form. She wants to remain kind, sweet throughout the entire film. And that in itself is pretty amazing when you think about it. That just wow, okay. She's stronger than you realize. Let's see, you can have diversity and whatnot, like I just said, and still be sympathetic to Cinderella, regardless of her gender. Whereas video games like Life is Strange 2, it just has really terrible storytelling. I mean, there's many problems with this game. Like one of them, the major problem is that it just has diversity just to have it. Just trying to ham fits its message and make it be about politics. I mean, about politics in itself doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, obviously. There's actually a proper reason to do it, and it depends on the execution, obviously. But it's just attempting to fix like certain messages or something about other games. I don't know. And that's what, in a lot of ways, Disney's trying to do: fix certain messages that they find questionable of the other films, and then trying to do like a modern take and quote unquote improve of them. That seems like there's nowhere near enough to justify their existence when it comes to remakes. Just because the other audiences claim that the older films are a certain way, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are a certain way. Just people accuse the older films to be a specific way. It's just a lie when you think about it. Damn it, Mr. Monkey. No, no, no. I'm not going to buy you a copy of these movies. No, you have a bad taste in movies. You know that, right? Well, what do you mean you like the remakes? You have no taste in movies like, at all. Go get a job. Oh, seriously, go get. Anyway, what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, I mean, yes, there's an argument to be made here is that yes, making these spin-offs, prequels, sequels, reboot, rehash, redone, whatever you want to call them, it helps to keep the industry alive because obviously there's an audience for this, and the vast majority of the Disney remakes have been making a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money. A lot of these, at least most of them, are a box office success. They'll get their budget back. They'll make a lot of profit. Because, like I was saying, yes, there's an audience for this. So it goes along with the idea that it makes money. It keeps the business alive. So maybe to some extent, you can argue that maybe there's the audience to blame in some ways because they're helping to keep these alive. Because the thing is that there's no point in complaining and complaining and complaining and then complaining and complaining. Oh, these movies are lousy. Oh, they were just lazy. They're not putting no effort. They could have easily put the resources on something more creative or more original. Which, yes, while that's true, but you can't be saying that and then go out and support these movies. Go support something that's actually more worth it when you think about it. So I just find this kind of stuff rather mind-boggling that people would complain about remakes and then only turn around and support them. I don't get it. It just seems kind of odd when you think about it that this kind of thing would have been mentioned. Granted, yes, you can argue that the whole idea of Disney is pretty much at the top of the listing of these large corporations that keep making remakes. And for the past several years, the Disney company had made several remakes, the vast majority of which, like I was saying, made profit. And then, yes, there's the whole idea of that they pretty much have the George Lucas films Star Wars, and yes, of course, it teamed up with Marvel as well, both of which had made a truck ton of money as well. So there's that. So but when a lot of these studios like Disney do try to be a bit more different, instead of just recycling something, they should become box office bombs. I just don't get that. It just seems rather odd to me because of that. So okay, and then we have the other Disney movies like Lady and the Tramp, which gets remade because the original film was perceived as racist. Like, what are you talking about? No, it was not, and it was quite successful along with another remake, The Jungle Book. Yeah, they actually do quite well, actually, like I've been saying a moment ago. So, but people will still complain that these movies are still being made. I don't get it. Oh boy. Just seems rather bizarre as far as I'm concerned. So you still can be complaining, but still go watch it. Mr. Monkey, what are you doing? What? No, you can't watch this garbage. I'm not going to give you a DVD or whatever, okay? Stop slacking off. Really, stop slacking off, will you? But you really need a good life. You really, anyway, like I was saying a moment ago, the people who complain about this demand the studio to be a bit more original, at least try to be more creative, at least attempt to tell a compelling story, make an attempt. That's the thing, though. Again, when they actually do, they're not really well received. Like, not really. Oh boy. So I just don't understand this like at all. When they actually do attempt to make an improvement on certain things, just people still won't support it. Like at all. That doesn't make any sense. Oh boy. I don't get it. Like I was saying, I don't understand a lot of stuff here. Yeah, one of the recent films Elvis and I went to see, of course, like I said in my previous video, Wish. And like I said then too, is that you got a very mixed response, mostly negative, which I don't understand. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, some people thought it was one of the best out there, so they got some people really liking it, so that's something. And that person acknowledges the fact that there are people out there that do wish the downfall for Disney, which is so asinine when you think about it. Which just does mean that that's not the movie's fault, like at all. That's just the individual's personal bias towards the studio. For whatever reason, they seem to be really grumpy about it. I guess you can say. Yeah, but like I said, the film's fine. I say check it out if you at least can catch it later on if you don't watch it in the movie theaters like we did. Man, I mean, seriously, you. y'all want it diverse and it's there, but y'all yet at the same time don't want to support it. It's just confusing. Like what the hell? It's like damn if you do, damn if you don't. That makes no sense. I don't get any of this, like at all. I mean, yeah, they shouldn't be remaking stuff. Obviously, that well, good. They shouldn't be remaking anything. Just like how people claim that the sequel trilogy ruined Star Wars, which is a lie, because that didn't happen at all. Because they claim that it's gone too woke, like female lead, feminism, and all that. Even though that kind of thing was always there from the get go, that was always there since the very, very beginning, even since the original trilogy. So it's no way. It's just like, what are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense, like at all. But I just find it weird that people have this kind of attitude towards the company and whatnot. I mean, again, I'm not trying to. I can't stress this enough. Okay, I'm not trying to justify them remaking anything. All right, I'm not doing that. They should not remake. No company should be remaking anything. Because as I said multiple times before, it's just incredibly lazy just to remake an already existing property just because you don't feel like getting Mr. Monkey. Hey, go and get. I'm not going to give you any of these bad movies. Okay, the remakes and whatnot. You're weird. Just get out of here. Really, you're a weirdo. Go and get. Just go and get, you little bastard. Anyway, like I was saying, like I'm not trying to justify that they're remaking stuff. No company should be doing that. It's not. It's not that they ran out of ideas, like I was saying earlier. Is that they didn't run out of ideas. They certainly didn't, because the adventure movies, there's like multiple storylines being used there, and there's a bunch of TV shows and whatnot, and they add stuff to the Star Wars lore, uh, despite contrary to popular belief, they didn't retcon anything. So they didn't run out of ideas. They certainly did not run out of ideas. So I'm not the one here to run the narrative that they just ran out of ideas. No, that's not the case, like at all. And they're still planning to make other movies with a variety of different stories. Whether they succeed or not, that's a different story. But they have a bunch of ideas to do other stories. But anyway, it's just that they just get lazy. They're just getting lazy. I mean, granted, you can use the same kind of logic around sequels, prequels, spin-offs, or what have you, side stories or whatever. I mean, granted, those can also be viewed as nothing more as cash grabs of a nostalgia. Sure, you can argue that actually makes sense when you think about it. But having that versus a remake would just completely ignore the previous continuity to start anew. I mean, there could be a few exceptions to that, of course. You just want to do a different thing altogether. Sure, that's one way to put it. Sure, I'm just saying. Anyway, along with the remakes like Peter Pan and Wendy and the Little Mermaid remake, these two I use as prime examples of what I'm trying to say is that they're trying to create a whole new modern day version of these movies because I don't know, but they're trying to fix a non-existent problem that was not even a thing in the first place, aka trying to stop the whole idea of the company was supposedly racist in terms of the original movies that they were based upon. And that's just stupid when you think about it. And yes, I do realize there's going to be angry mothers that are trying to defend these remakes specifically, trying to say that, oh, you don't want diversity in the movies, you don't want minorities to be the stars in the movie, or you don't want strong women to be in the movies, or you don't want their daughters to have fun in the movie theater, which is just a form of gaslighting. That's lying. You're just lying right there. You're lying sack of shit. When did I ever say I was against that kind of thing? When did I ever say that kind of thing? I don't know. Mr. Monkey, hey, you can't have these bad movies. Oh, come on. It's just ridiculous. Mr. Monkey, just go and get. Find a job. I mean, really, just go. Hey, I got some for you. Here you go. It's just for you, all right? Here. Yeah, that's what you get for being damn bothersome. But anyway, like we're saying, folks, people like this were just trying to gaslight you, trying to use a form of manipulation, basically just trying to trip you into agreeing what they were agreeing with, I guess you can say, which is moronic. If you want to put up a good argument, fine. Put up a good argument. There's nothing wrong with it. If you want to debate over something, sure, let's debate, sure. But that's not how you do it. That's not the way to go, like at all. You don't have to use manipulation to make someone go on your side. So at this point, it just moves beyond the movies and just go on your own personal bias because you just offended by somebody that's not agreeing with you. We're not kids here, okay? We're not in middle school. You don't have to throw some childish tantrums to get your way. You're not a kid anymore. It's like welcome to the real world. Come on. I've been in this conversation way too many times if you ask me, but whatever. Okay, I'll bring up Coco for real quick, which is about a family that's getting disturbed by this musical thing or whatnot, and it's basically like an Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. But even people got mad at this movie because apparently with Disney, how dare they steal the idea of their grandmama from the actual person? Like, what are you talking about? This multi-dollar corporate company is going to steal ideas from some random old lady and just use it for their films. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure, uh huh. But then there was this movie that was actually better received, actually. And yeah, I mean, yes, of course, it's featuring a Mexican family and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you can still sympathize with them, at least with the main character anyway, because there is a thing called toxic perfection, toxic positivity. Yeah, that exists. And you can apply that in so many different ways, regardless of what race, ethnic background that the viewer may be. And that's fine, nothing wrong with that. Having a toxic mother that's extremely controlling. Okay, it doesn't have to be the mother. It could be your dad. It could be your brother. It could be your nephew. Whatever. You got just the fact that you're hanging around with one or more toxic relatives around you, like all day and every day. That's universal. It doesn't matter if you're white, Chinese, black, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Or Korean, Chinese, whatever. It's universal. When you think about it. So yeah, Hispanic people come in all shapes of colors. So yeah, they were very depending on the location and who they are and whatnot. And seeing this in a family like this, having different kind of hair and whatnot and skin tone, that's not much of a stretch within the Hispanic community. So that's actually makes it feel really plausible when you think about it. So when it comes to having different type of characters and have it be done properly, it can be done. It's possible. What I'm trying to get at is that the company can do it. They are able to do this. So that's what I'm trying to say. It just bogs my mind. They're trying to remake everything. That just makes this entire thing even more confusing. You don't have to do that. Like at all. When in reality, you're fully capable, like I just said a moment ago, of doing this kind of a thing anyway with more original stories and not remake, I don't know, already existing property. So, okay. This is bizarre. So, what I'm proposing is that it could be just a one time thing, a standalone kind of a movie like the Princess movies originally was supposed to be. Because the thing is that I'm referring to the fact that Walt Disney himself never really was too keen on making sequels to his Princess movies because they were supposed to be like on one thing and that's it. That's a one time thing, a standalone kind of a deal, really. They were not supposed to be part of a grander expanded universe or anything. And that's what he viewed about it. That's why he viewed it with these kinds of movies as a one time thing, and that was it, which is fine, I guess. Well, movies like Tango was originally supposed to have a sequel, as in movie sequel, but eventually got a TV show, so that's something, I guess. And then those movies like Enchanted, which was actually a pretty solid movie, I suppose. I liked it. And to me, the sequel wasn't particularly great, really, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Just, ugh. Anyway, yeah, and then there was a Princess Diaries 1 and 2. I thought the second one was pretty alright, I suppose. And anyway, my point being, if they're gonna make more, it doesn't necessarily have to do any of that, really. It'd be just a one time thing. It doesn't have to have a spin off, it doesn't have to have a prequel, offshoot, series, or what have you. Sometimes it's better just to keep it just one time and that was it. I'm not against having a franchise, really, per se. Even though like I was saying earlier, the complaints I was saying is that the same thing could be said to sequels or just an expanded franchise of any shape or form. Could also be considered as a crash grab, which isn't that much of a stretch, really. Sure, but if it's done right. Well, yeah, how about mix the Resident Evil Village and The Last of Us 2? Do like a combo here. And that'd be cool. Like a horror movie kind of a thing. I mean, it doesn't have to be super graphic or anything, I'm just saying. But just give me something here. Just give me something. At least a try, attempt to do something different here. But wouldn't that be something though? You can have like this vintage feel to it in some ways and whatnot, and a sense of gracefulness, I guess. And then have it set in a mansion where these princesses, maybe two of them or three, could maybe have like a trio of princesses, and they have to maybe fight off this that one tall vampire lady, and it could be somehow connected to the whole virus thing that you saw in the Last of Us 2. Maybe, I mean, okay, the same one in the first game too, but you get the point here is that maybe they could try to prevent it from getting worse, and it was in this village that got really messed up and whatnot, and it had something to do with that one lady and her minions. Doesn't she have daughters or something? Maybe they can be tied in this somehow, I guess. I don't know. But instead, we get some slog because I don't know, because reasons, I suppose. I mean, yes, and large part of this is nostalgia. They're trying to just make money off of nostalgia. That's like one of the most obvious things that they're doing here. Hey, Mr. Old Monkey, what did you? You got my credit card again, didn't you? Yeah, you bought some. Ah, man, you just went to the dollar store and you just bought a lot of bad movies again. Oh boy, you realize those movies are garbage, right? Man, you gonna have to pay for that. You know, you will have to pay for that. You really need to get a job. I don't know how you're gonna pay for it, but you will have to pay for that. You know. All right. No, don't talk me. Don't be sassy now. All right. You're gonna have to do that. Return it. I don't know. You get the receipt anyway. But yeah. So like the Lion King, it's basically like the first movie, but just extended and whatnot. Even Tim Burton's As Wonderland wasn't very good. She's son is a warrior woman. Oh, okay, that seems random. I didn't like the Jungle Book. The Jungle was basically the same movie, but again, this has been extended and whatnot. I kind of feel like I'm just repeating the same plums, like I said when I reviewed some of these movies. They're basically they're the original counterparts, just been extended. The original films have a fairly simple premise, which in itself doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. You can use a very simple premise to explore complex problems, and that's fine. Kind of break it down a little bit, but the remakes just felt it just feels that these movies just felt padded. They felt very padded. They just add a bunch of stuff there, extra scenes of dialogue, exposition about XYZ, and just to extend it. That's it, just to extend for the 2 hour mark, if not a little bit more than that. So why can't they just grab the original movies and just pretty much digitally extend them? I mean, add extra scenes and whatnot? Because that's initially what they're doing anyway. They're just grabbing the original films and just adding scenes. And that's about it, really. They're basically doing that. So why can't they just get the original films and just re-release them in theaters? Which they done before. They re-released a lot of their old movies like 15, 20 years after their original release. They've done that before, so what can they do now? Again, they're initially doing the exact same thing. It's just in live action form. I don't get it. This just seems rather bizarre. They're just going the most laziest route out there when you think about it. And just, I don't know. Just seems rather bizarre if you ask me. It's just really weird. It makes no sense. I mean, from a business standpoint, it makes sense from a business standpoint because it's a they're printing out their own money basically. They're printing out their own money by doing this. I mean, it may not always work all the time, obviously, but it does make a quick buck out of all this garbage. And I mean, there's an argument to be made here that it doesn't have to be good. It just has to make money. Which I can kind of see what you mean by saying that. If you want to pull that part of the argument, It just has to make money. Ultimately, it just has to make money because at the end of the day, that's what these companies want is money. Because that's initially what keeps this business alive is the cha-ching, 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 the money, the coin. And you would be right if that's something you believe in, and you'd be absolutely right about that. Of course, it's going to want to do because it keeps the business going. Oh boy. I mean, yes, you can always argue that it's also the people who watch these. You're supporting them for this continuous talk. Like, okay, what's stopping me from buying these movies used? I can't go to like a Goodwill, DD's, or even a Rasputin to buy these used instead of supporting them at a Best Buy or a Walmart. Or I'm referring to remakes, of course, because they're awful. And instead of just going to like a one of those places, I go to a used at one of those hand-me-down places instead. So I can do that and not really support them, but get the movie anyway. So there's that option, I suppose. Oh boy, what the hell, Mr. Monkey? Okay, go and get. Second thought. Here you go. I got something for you. Here. Hey boy, he never listens. Like I was saying a moment ago, is that and over the years they've released multiple special editions for a number of their films. And so, like I was saying, they've done this kind of thing before, releasing special editions, multiple special editions from a good number of their films. And yes, a lot of people went to buy these special editions and whatnot, and that's fine, I suppose. They were already milking these movies, and there are those multi packs that will be released, even though a lot of these movies have been already released in their single disc movies and they release in multi packs. So there was that. Like I said, they were already milking these movies anyway. When you think about it, I mean, hell, look at Snow White, the original one. That was released quite a few times in lots of multiple different special editions. Even though there were even special editions on VHS tape. When you think about it, and for the 100th year anniversary, films like Frozen, among many others, were released in other special editions. So they're basically doing this anyway. So it just makes the whole remake idea here even more questionable. It's just like, what the hell? Okay. I don't understand this. I don't understand any of this, like at all. And if anyone tells me, oh, it's their business, they can do whatever they want, that's just a really lazy way just to explain it. Yeah, of course, it's their business. That doesn't mean I have to buy it. I mean, a good buy, just get it used. Anyway, point being, if anybody wants to use that excuse that, oh, it's their creation, it's their characters, it's their stories, they can do whatever the hell they want. Yeah, they can, but that doesn't mean they're above criticism. That doesn't mean it shields them from being criticized. I mean, yes, there's a difference between that and just bashing somebody, because bashing somebody and giving constructive criticism aren't both the same thing, like at all. Oh boy, just it just seems like they just don't want to take the risks. Really, they just want to just copy and paste on what they have already succeeded on over the years. It just comes off like they don't want to try as hard. Yeah, when Walt Disney was around, he was stressing out because he has to prove that his product is good. He has to prove that his movies are worth a damn. But since nowadays they don't have to do that anymore, not really. They just got really comfortable. They're just taking the most laziest way because they got too comfortable on what they're trying to do. So they're not going to take the risk. Okay, maybe to be somewhat lenient here, maybe they are taking some risks to some extent. Maybe in some ways they are. Sure, maybe in some movies they are taking risks. Unfortunately, even there's even a problem with that. By which I mean is that the risks that they're willing to take to do something brand new are few and two in between. Unfortunately, it's just like they just don't want to do that. Come on, I mean, okay, it doesn't exactly help that a lot of the films in. I mean, yes, at least during the recording of this video, at least for the time being, a lot of their films have been flopping. So it doesn't exactly help their case to do something more brand new because a lot of the films have been flopping as of lately, at least lately in the recording of this video anyway. But okay, yeah, I still would like to see them to actually give more effort, which I highly doubt they would actually would, at least more often. And I mean, of course, that's easier said than done because, like I said, there are at least with the movies are financially struggling. And when it comes to remakes, I mean, yes, obviously some are worse than others. I definitely can say that some are worse than others. Of course, I can definitely say that. But still, though, I just wish that they could have just done something more creative, trying to do some more. I don't know, just attempt something. It's always best to attempt and fail than not try nothing at all. Is what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, I just don't think that this was completely necessary to do because it just seems like they're just going back on what they already succeeded on. They're just trying to make money on what they already have been doing. So it's just for the grand scheme of things. I know I didn't review every single remake as of yet that they have produced, but in the grand scheme of things, like I was saying earlier, I feel like I'm repeating myself, and then I'm repeating myself, and then I'm repeating myself, and then I'm repeating myself, repeat myself, repeat myself, repeat myself, repeat myself, repeat. It's just like literally every single remake I've reviewed has the same exact problem because I just feel like they're just extended versions on the movies that they already had produced. And first diversity. There seems to be like those two primary things that seem to be the problem when you think about it. It just seems like they oh yeah, and the CGI. A lot of the CGI in the movies aren't very good. A lot of the CGI is pretty bad. I mean, some of the CGI is better than others, of course, but I noticed a lot of this CGI in some of these movies are pretty bad as well. And then not only that, it just seems like they just over explain everything. Like they over explain every single thing. Like for example, like the Beauty and the Beast remake, they over explained everything. I think that the thing with the castle and whatnot, trying to give like it feels like they're trying to give everything a backstory. And then when the characters already have a backstory, like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, they're trying to expand it even further. But even though at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything at all. Like I was saying, another common problem with these remakes, like I was saying a moment ago, they're trying to fix a problem that wasn't even there in the first place. Like I was saying way earlier, they're trying to say that it's sexist, it was racist, it's this, all these various things, all of which have already been debunked. None of these claims are actually true, and it doesn't really help my case here because Disney would just cave in and just trying to just fix a problem that wasn't really a problem to begin with. It's a non-existent problem. When you think about it, it's just trying to shut people up and just make sure that they won't say nothing. And I mean, from a financial perspective, the vast majority of these films have been successful. As I was saying, that from a business standpoint, from a financial perspective, despite the public's opinion, I can see why the Disney would do that. I can see why they would want to make money off of these movies because at the end of the day, it's about making money. But doing this can ultimately cause their own downfall because it feels like it's going to stagnate. It stagnates creativity, and this kind of business tactics can stagnate creativity. I mean, yes, there's the whole aspect where will the audience accept this? I mean, a lot of people have already been complaining about Disney movies, like the one film, Strange World. Strange World included a gay character, which a lot of people didn't like, really, and that bothered a lot of people. And the fact that might include a trans character, a bisexual character, a lesbian, so on and so forth. They didn't want to include in these characters. People complain about it, and the fact that people also complain about the fact that they might include people from different cultures as the main character, and people complain about that. And yes, people also complain about the fact that the main character is a female. I mean, yes, if you want to have diversity, like I said earlier, yes, it should be done properly. Of course, it should not be forced upon. It should come off genuine. You see, there should be more to the characters than this and that. Of course, treat them like actual people. There should be more to these characters than these listed things. Of course. But of course, obviously, no matter how well written a movie is, no matter how well done a movie is, it doesn't matter how if the voice acting is great, if the animation is great, no matter how good a certain movie is or how fantastic a movie is. Yes, there's still people can be complaining about this because oh no, you include a Mexican princess in the movie. Oh no, you have a trans princess. Blah 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 blah. All this negative, stupid complaints. Like these really conservative Christians would complain about. What's I've mentioned before. A lot of these conservative Christians complain about Disney before, like how Fox News believe that Disney is being ruined by the woke culture nowadays, which of course is absurd. That's just the whole honest with that. The honest reaction can play a factor into these movies. Obviously, is what I'm saying. I mean, I don't want to go too much into this a whole lot really because this is something I've spoken about multiple times already. So I'm getting kind of sick of bringing this up as well, along with sick of bringing up the remakes because it just comes up. I'm just repeating myself numerous times here. Let me just wrap things up because this video is very lengthy as it is. So I do appreciate anybody for actually sticking around this long and just hear me complain about remakes just over and over again, as I often do. I mean, it's not just with Disney, obviously. I've complained about remakes from other studios, obviously. So don't be thinking, oh, I'm just picking at Disney to make a remix. I've done that with multiple different directors, is what I'm getting at. Just, I don't know anymore. It just seems weird. This entire thing just seems pretty bizarre. Yep. Yeah, I believe I would have made also look a very specific kind of way, if you know what I mean. You can still look feminine, graceful, and all that, and womanly. Looking attractive can be a form of empowerment, self confidence and whatnot. It doesn't have to be an evil thing. I know it would piss people off. Like for example, like we were supposed to get nearly 10 movies of Tinkerbell, but that never came to being because it's just really asinine reasons. This is something I spoke about before, but the long story short is that yeah, apparently according to Disney, the merchandising wasn't really doing all that well for a little while. But then there were complaints also because of the fact that how these characters looked, the way they were designed. So as a result, these characters were, especially Tinkerbell herself, was supposedly a bad role model for women. What? Because of the way she looks. That's it. Because she has these big hips or whatever. She was like designed after Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, that lady. So a lot of these people, primarily mothers, will get mad because of certain characters looked a specific kind of way. Like, are you serious? You got nothing going on in your life? Okay. But the movie was remade anyway. Peter Pan and Minnie. This film was remade anyway. So, what? I'm confused. What? Huh? I don't get it. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Until next time. What? I'm going to Wendy's again. Oh boy, I'm gonna be getting so fat now. I've been going here too much. Ugh.